All is forgiven. Forgiven is redundant. And the accomplishment of the understanding, forgiven as a label, needs not to exist. I've been waiting for this to show its face. I've thought about searching for this in my books, in my writings, and I said no. It's gonna come in time. And this morning, because yesterday I said it might be time to do something different, I took out some of my writings and I went through a couple pages. And this morning I said, would I do that again? I said, why not? Why not? You know, if they can stand to listen to the things I'm thinking, they must be able to stand listening to the things I'm writing. It's not necessarily the same. It's close. But in my writing, I can see the way I'm thinking. And it gets a little bit tighter. Today, I opened this. Must have been about Wastoid Weekend 2008, maybe 2009, that I was dressed as the Joker and wandering through Memorial Day weekend, through the park, the Upper Manistee River campsite. Shouldn't have said that. Now everybody's going to be going there. There won't be room for us. But, yeah, I was dressed as a Joker and I was wandering around lost trying to get between two different campsites on different sides of the damn campsite park. And I'm wandering through the woods, busting off things, and I got the Joker look on. I'm like, and I kept walking past this one campsite and looking in, and I'm like, no, that's not where I'm looking. But they don't know what I'm thinking. They just see some guy with grease paint wandering through the woods around him. Like that guy, Johnny Johnigan in Traverse City. I was up in the fucking little Muppet Show old man thing because they had no place else for me to sit, and I was dressed like that. He said, and he fucked up his show, and he says, got some guy up here in grease paint, and I'm like, ha. I was freaking him out, but that's what I did. And I was walking past this campfire in the night, and finally I came rolling in, and I sat down, and I spoke of what I had just written. On Thursday, 14 May 2009, 12:05. So it was 5 minutes afternoon on a Thursday. I wrote this. And then at Wastoid Weekend, Memorial Day weekend, canoe thing, I was wandering through the woods and it was fresh in my mind, and I sat down and I talked to these guys and I talked to these guys and I talked to these guys, and they all looked like people that, well, they were probably college friends. Somebody knew about this place, let's go camping, and then this guy comes in, welcome to Frederick, motherfucker. So today I opened this, I turned the page, and there it is. There it is. You see? There it is. There it is. That's the difference between tolerance and forgiveness. This I've learned by dealing with people through the years. If you tolerate something, it means you've accepted you can't beat it, but that doesn't mean you need to like it. Tolerance on one side of the line versus, and there's a question mark. I do have a question mark there. Does it really stand against forgiveness? Is this little thing that I'm writing, is it right? I don't know. I'm writing it. So on one side of the line it says tolerance. Tolerance is rooted in the notion that the numbers of those that act and believe in a manner otherwise suitable to the belief system of the tolerant body, whether it be an individual or an entity composed of individuals whom have compromised their own belief systems. In parentheses, I have BS. Belief systems is practically equivalent to me as bullshit. That's what that says there. I don't know, I wrote that like 14 years ago or something like that. Those whom have surrendered their personal rights, at least publicly, to run further astray from the common ground staked out by the mutually governing body, lest they be exposed subsequently, ostracized, punished. Paranoia and backbiting is the law they utilize to keep each other in check. Publicly, in parentheses. Tolerance is the attitude they adopt towards those that number too great to be effectively crushed and or assimilated. They continue to view themselves better. And the pen ran out of ink. So I had to switch pens. That was the tolerance side of my idea. Now you wonder why I speak of tolerance. It's because I've heard of Christian tolerance so much throughout my life. Christian tolerance, just taking it. You know, and it makes them feel better about themselves to say it. I hate those fucking people, but I can't do anything about it. We have Christian tolerance. We love them because we're afraid to crush them because it will be the end of us. And on the other side of that line, I write forgiveness. Tolerance versus forgiveness. We just heard about tolerance. Let's speak about forgiveness now. Forgiveness extends forth from understanding differences and from understanding what the tolerant body would readily dismiss as incomprehensible actions. Forgiveness is accomplished on an individual basis. To know oneself is to know others. To know others is to know oneself. True understanding is the key to achieving the divine entity, the divine collective. The individual that understands itself has a diminished propensity for backbiting, is less prone to paranoia. Judge not lest thee be judged is a comfortable phrase readily used, yet infrequently pondered by the tolerant body. Understanding is requisite of forgiveness, yet there are differing degrees of understanding. The apex, the zenith, being true understanding, parentheses, TU. Forgiveness itself is beneath it. In reactions of true understanding, we experience no need whatsoever for forgiveness. There lacks the slightest assertion of blame and understanding properly by all parties involved. No reception of guilt. Guilt is an instrument of the tolerant body. We take the actions of others as external possibilities of ourselves. That's the forgiving part of it. And then on the side here where I ran out of room to write, tolerance is a word they prefer over the word impotence. It makes them feel better about themselves and their ways. Alleviates the sensation of helplessness, ineptitude. Of lost meandering. If they're so consistently intertwined, they must be counted as one. Law. So what you must understand is that if we can understand each other, we can be forgiving. And anytime you talk about somebody tolerating somebody, it means they're fucking belittling that person they are tolerating. And like, I can't beat them. And they have no right to belittle them because they can't beat them. So by saying we can't beat them and keep them down, we will tolerate them. It's a sign of weakness in itself. Anytime you hear somebody being tolerated.